Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Today is the latest Andreas Pop Culture retrospective slash review. It is on the 2021 MCU film, the 24th film, Black Widow, directed by Cate Shortland, starring Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, and uh, William Hurt. Now, everyone knows this is Black Widow, the 2021 film starring Scarlett Johansson. So pretty much it's after the events of Captain America Civil War, which we saw Romanoff and many of her fellow Avengers go on the run after refusing to sign the Sokovia Accords. And Avenger Infinity War, the movie takes place immediately the following events of Civil War, with Romanoff setting up a new quiet life for herself until she receives a strange message from her sister, Florence Pugh's character, Elena. Now, as you know, more than a decade after her debut in Iron Man 2, Marvel's first female Avenger finally receives a solo outing. It's hard to say that the wait was worth the experience, though seeing a Marvel film on the big screen for the first time in nearly 2 years in the pandemic could arguably fit that description. But anyway, because as good Black Widow is, it's really good. It almost feels a little too late for one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most enduring characters, and the woman who brought her to life in the big screen, Scarlett Johansson. But still, fantastic movie, one of the best I will say in the multiverse saga after Shang-Chi. Now, as fans remember, as I iterate, in the Avengers Endgame, Romanoff met her end on Vermore as the required sacrifice to obtain the Soul Stone to complete the Infinity Gauntlet needed to reverse the Thanos attack. Now, Black Widow sidesteps the fact that her character is currently dead in the main continuity by serving as a prequel movie that takes place, as I say before, uh, after the events of Captain America Civil War and before the Infinity War starts. Seeing the film twice in theaters, plus multiple in-depth discussion of the film in podcast or slash live stream review, I actually was genuinely entertained for this film, and I was surprised with the outcome of Black Widow. I think it's a very good MCU film, not top tier nor low tier, but I think it's a good mid tier film that I think people can really enjoy. This movie felt like a good old fashioned fast paced action movie, especially since there weren't superior power um, beings like in the MCU involved here. This felt like in terms of the 2020 movie was up alongside the likes of the Batman in terms of me having the interest in a very dark slash realistic spy thriller in the vein of Jason Bourne slash James Bond, and I think that's a good combo to enjoy. Makes this film work is that pretty much this movie explores Black Widow's past and has only been hinted at in the franchise up to this point. Everyone knows she was a former Russian agent working for the Red Room, a secretive group of highly trained assassins, but nothing beyond that was ever been revealed until now. This movie opens with almost surreal Mr. X family life of the 1980s Ayahado, yeah, with young Natasha and her sister playing with the backyard before dinner. Dave Harbour makes a appearance as the loving father before receiving a phone call that reveals that the family is nothing more than a Russian plant. Think FX brilliant show, The American Show, The Americans, starring Kerry Russell. Romanoff's Pishtek's family life was never real, and they were never really a family, but were instead put together for a mission. And Natasha and Elena were never sisters, and Harper's Alexei was never their father, and the mother, Rachel Weisz's character, Melinda. Now, for the vast majority of the film, the script keeps the stakes relatively, well, limitedly low. At its core, Black Widow is a movie about family and accepting the people around you as your family. And I think that's a good message. The story beats emphasize this as Romanoff reconnects with Elena and then Lexley and Belina on the mission to free the remaining members of the Red Room, Black Widows, who are now brainwashed. Romanoff is in conflict with herself about the nature of her relationship to these people as she was with the enemies that were trying to kill her. It's only when accepting that Lexi and Lex, yeah, Alexei and Elena and Melina are her family bond by something more important than blood. Just as she was bond to the Avengers, that she was able to overcome her challenges. Black Widow at least tries to offer something slightly deeper than the standard Marvel affair in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The opening credits are very different from the usual fare in Marvel. They're downright hunting with the images of the girls of the Red Room being abducted and subjected to abuse and torture as much as the movie is about family. It's also about how society treats women as things before casting them aside when they are no longer useful. But as is the problem with many films of this type, the imagery is there, but more as a window dressing to serve the narrative, and then as a political statement as well, which they don't do too much about. But the one that they nail definitely well in this film, and pretty much the accepted Black Widow Alien appearance that the relationship at the core of the film are better developed than perhaps any other infantry film is Sisterhood. Johnson and Pugh have really great, amazing chemistry, and the latter absolutely steals the spotlight from his crew's character Elena, perhaps setting herself as the new Black Widow's successor in the upcoming franchise, in this case, the Thunderbolts. Even Harper's Red Guardian is a very scene stealer as well. Failure of the Soviet super soldier is anything to watch as he constantly trying to compare himself to Captain America slash Steve Rogers. And then wrapping up, and then the movie delves into CGI feel final act, which is something that a lot of people complain. Now, I think the third act is not good. Plus, the villains of Draco slash Taskmaster are not really particularly well thought out villains as some of the other MCU villains. I think they're the weakest of the bunch. I mean, come on, the twist with Taskmaster was kind of obvious and very weak. I kind of wish they spent more time developing Draco Thunder more as a character, so that I care more about her being controlled. Then again, that's typical Marvel fare. You have to get used to. Marvel Studios' core for explosion and wasteless action are here. For the last 30 minutes, Black Widow forgets all the soul searching its characters have done and all the revelations that they have uncovered to throw them into a meat grinder of nonstop action. It's well directed action, but it feels like a tone shift from all that has become before a dark, gritty spy thriller they were trying to aim up with. And that's where I think the third act fails. And that doesn't match really the good two act structure that the Black Widow did. Overall, I like Black Widow. Black Widow is the solo film that Marvel not deserve, but it just feels as if it was fulfilling a long overdue obligation rather than it as a true entry in the MCU canon. Certainly, the story beats hit a little harder knowing Ravenon's ultimate fate, but its overall theme of identity and discovering self-worth fits within the current slate of the Disney Plus MCU shows slash movies. It just feels like the movie could have been much better suited to release before the Avengers Infinity War saga. But overall, it's a fantastic mid-term film, as I say before. Thank you everyone for joining me to this latest Andreas Pop Culture Science retrospective slash review. More to come, and thank you so much for listening to this, and ciao. Bye.